People of the internet, thanks for coming to play 21 questions. It's a trivia podcast. My name's Mike. I run a trivia company called Trivia Tribe. We do shows in pubs and clubs and this podcast. Let's go. Question 1. Which sport was Kobe Bryant famous for? Kobe Bryant, famous basketballer, played for the Lakers for his entire 20-year career, tragically died in a helicopter accident in 2020. That's got the show off to a cheery start. Sorry about that. Question 2. Which legendary music festival is also the name of the Peanuts character Snoopy's best friend who's a little bird? That, of course, is Woodstock. Question 3. Dating back to the 12th century, in what country was shortbread created? That would be Scotland. Question 4 is always a true or false in this podcast. True or false? A goanna, as in the member of the monitor lizard family, gives birth to live young. That's false. A goanna lays eggs. Question 5. Which M word, 13 letters, means a variety of items or people of different types or from different sources? Did you get miscellaneous out of all of that? The word we're looking for there is miscellaneous. Question 6. Would an electrician, a chef, or a draftsman, or draftsperson I suppose, be more likely to use a T-square? A T-square used in technical drawing and that sort of thing, that's a draftsman. Question 7. In children's entertainment and in the mid-2000s, who was Ben Tennyson better known as? That would be Ben 10, and man, did I spend some money on stupid Ben 10 toys for my son Jake, who was right in the demographic for Ben 10 back in the day. After question 7, we do the first clues for the Who Am I? Today it's a person. Who am I? I was born in 1968 in a small town outside of Montreal. I was the youngest of 14 children in a family that ran its own piano bar. At just 12 years old, I helped write my very first song with my mother and one of my brothers. The demo tape they sent to a Montreal talent manager changed everything. He was so convinced by what he heard that he mortgaged his own house to fund my first record. Throughout the 1980s, I released 8 French-language albums. In 1988, I represented Switzerland rather than my own country, and I won the Eurovision Song Contest. It was my first real step onto the world stage. Any thoughts on who that might be? It's kind of an apology, who am I, if you've listened to previous episodes of this show. More clues after question 14. You'll know what I mean as we go. Question 8. Roger Federer reached the final of the Wimbledon men's singles titles 12 times across his career. How many did he win? Did he win 7, 8, or 9 of those times? Federer, he won Wimbledon 8 times. Question 9. Which 8-lettered word, sometimes grouped as 2 words of 4, is an undesirable person or group and also the name of a character from the Rocky Horror Picture Show? That's Riff Raff. Riff Raff, of course, sings Time Warp, among other things, in the Rocky Horror Show. Question 10 is a maths question, so I'll give you a little bit longer to think about it. What is the fraction 3/5 when expressed as a percentage? That's 60%. How'd you go? You're right. I always feel a little bit guilty when I do maths questions because I get feedback from people going, hey, I love the maths questions, and I get feedback from people going, for the love of God, why do you make us do that? Question 11 is another true or false, and it's a player question. Kenneth, who did not give his location, but his email address ends in AU, so I'm guessing he's in Australia somewhere. Kenneth asks, true or false? When every flight from every airline in the world is combined, there were almost 40 million scheduled commercial flights worldwide in 2025. Is that true? Is that false? Kenneth, that's a great question. How did you even find that data? Anyway, the answer is... Now, Kenneth says that's actually true. There were 39.8 million flights worldwide in 2025. It's very interesting to me that Kenneth has asked about the number of flights but doesn't mention how often they take off on average. And I might email him back and ask the question, what's the frequency Kenneth. Thank you for your question, Kenneth, and I'm very sorry to have taken that cheap shot at your name, but I couldn't. How could I not? Come on. Let's press on. Question 12. Who said, an archaeologist is the best husband a woman can have? The older she gets, the more interested he is in her. Now, was that Agatha Christie or Bette Midler? I can actually imagine either one of them saying this. But in this case, that quote was Agatha Christie. Question 13. Which country's capital city is Manila? That'd be the Philippines. Question 14 is another player question. Angelina asks, how many of the world's top 10 highest mountains are in the Himalayas? Is it 5? Is it 7? Is it 9? It's actually 9. The only one that isn't is K2, which Angelina says is in Karakoram. I did well there. Which is a giant mountain range in Asia. Thank you, Angelina. Great question. You and Kenneth, you're my favourites so far this episode. More clues now for the Who Am I? If you remember, the Canadian singer won Eurovision. Who am I? When I was 19, I married that same manager who discovered me as a 12-year-old, and I've become Canada's best-selling recording artist. In 1996, my album, Falling Into You, won the Grammy for Album of the Year. I recorded the theme songs for Beauty and the Beast for the Disney film the same name, and Because You Loved Me for Up Close and Personal, but I'm best known for the theme song recorded for the biggest film of the year of 1997 about a doomed ocean liner. That song alone has sold more than 50 million copies. Have you worked it out yet? Do you remember why I have to apologise for something I said a couple of episodes ago? I don't have to, I just felt bad about it when I listened back to it. Anyway, final clues after question 20. Good. Question 15. In 1994, which ice skater was banned for life after she admitted her involvement in a plot to injure her rival, Nancy Kerrigan? That's Tonya Harding. That story is wild. If you don't know the story, have a Google of that. The way I'm going to say her team, I don't know, she claims she was never involved, but the way the people that were involved went about it, absolute amateur hour. It's an extraordinary story. Have a look at it. Anyway, it was Tonya Harding, played by Margot Robbie in the movie I, Tonya, worth a look. Question 16. What do the initials FIFO stand for when used in relation to a workforce? If you're a FIFO worker, you fly in and fly out. And apparently lots of money to be made doing that. Although friends of mine have described that as the divorce lifestyle. So careful. Question 17. Which breed of bird and body of water combined to give the name of an 1875 Tchaikovsky ballet in which Princess Odette is transformed by an evil sorcerer? Did we get Swan Lake out of all of that? Good. Question 18. We're at the Oscars. Nicole Kidman won an Oscar in 2003 for her portrayal of which literary figure? Is it Sylvia Plath? Was it Enid Blyton? Or was it Virginia Woolf? That'd be Virginia Woolf. Question 19 on this podcast is always a still alive or not so much. I give you the name of a person. We work out together if they're still alive or not so much. Today it's an interesting one. Still alive or not so much. Peter Ostrom. Who's that, you ask? I'm glad you did. He played Charlie Bucket, the little boy, in the 1971 film Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Is Peter Ostrom still alive or not so much? So, Peter was just 12 years old when he shot the movie in 1971, so that makes him 68 now. He never acted again. He turned down opportunities. He became a vet instead. He's still alive, by the way. Question 20 is always a music question, and today it is. Monday, Monday was a hit song in 1966 for which American band? That would be the Mamas and the Papas. Monday, Monday. Final clues now for the Who Am I? It's the Canadian singer, sings in French sometimes, movie themes. Look, we know who it is, but let's just go through the motions. Who am I? I've sold over 200 million records worldwide. I've headlined a legendary Las Vegas residency for a decade, and I even sang from the Eiffel Tower at the opening of the 2024 Paris Olympics. After a very public battle with a rare neurological condition called stiff person syndrome, I'm returning to the stage this September for 10 shows in Paris. I am Celine Dion, and to be honest, I didn't know about the stiff person syndrome thing when I called her the world's most boring person the other day. And then when I read about it, I felt really bad and really guilty, and thought I'd better show Celine some love. Not that anyone cares what I think, but I felt bad about it. Anyway, how'd you go with that set of questions? Did you go all right? Comment your score, shoot me a message and let me know. And while you're shooting me a message, send me a question for episode 100. This is episode 90, so we're getting quite close to closing off the books for the player questions that we're going to use on episode 100. If you've just joined us, episode 100 being a milestone, I'm going to populate the entire show from questions suggested by you, the players. Send me that via Facebook. 21 Questions by Trivia Tribe is the Facebook page. I'll let you know I've got your message. And if I don't use your question in episode 100, I will use it shortly thereafter. Okay, this podcast comes out every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, so meet me back here in a couple of days. We'll have another crack at it. I've been Mike van Acker. I love you. Catch you next time.